Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be doing a deep dive into this meditation technique called meditation on touch. It's from the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra. And, I think especially I know you've mentioned before, like finding it hard to sit still and meditate. This one might be right up your alley.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because it really uses something that we kind of take for granted every day, our sense of touch. And the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, if you don't know, is basically like this collection of 112 meditation techniques, all designed to try and help you reach a higher state of consciousness.
Yeah.
But this one, meditation on touch, is really interesting because it uses that sense of touch as a path to mindfulness.
That's what I thought was so cool about it, too, is like, we're touching things all day long, feeling textures, feeling temperatures, but I don't often stop to actually think about it, My mind is just like somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like we're on autopilot, and this technique is really inviting you to just come back to the present moment through touch. And, if you think about it, touch is one of the first senses that we develop. And it's kind of how we connect to the world around us.
Yeah.
We connect with other people through touch. We connect with, ourselves through touch. It's really primal.
Yeah, it's true. So, okay, so walk me through it. How does this meditation on touch actually work?
So basically you start by picking a specific sensation. It could be the feeling of your clothes on your skin, or maybe you feel the air on your face. It could even be something like, you're holding a cold glass and feeling the coolness of the glass. Anything that you can physically feel.
So, okay, so if I was sitting here at my desk, I could just focus on how my keyboard feels under my fingers.
Exactly. And once you've chosen that sensation, just find the comfortable position, whether it's sitting or lying down, whatever feels good for you. You can close your eyes if that helps you concentrate. And then just bring all of your attention to that one sensation. You can notice the texture, notice the temperature, notice how it might change over time as you pay attention to it.
Okay, that sounds easy enough in theory, right?
Right.
But what about when my mind starts to wander? Because, let's be real, it always happens.
Of course, that's totally natural. I mean, our minds are designed to jump around.
Yeah.
But the key is to just gently notice it when it wanders. And then gently guide your attention back to whatever physical sensation you've chosen. And, don't judge yourself. There's no frustration.
Yeah.
You're just gently returning your attention. It's kind of like training a puppy. It takes some patience. It takes practice. But eventually your mind will start to stay a little bit longer.
Yeah, that makes total sense. This is making me realize how much I just rush through my day.
Yeah.
I'm not really savoring any of those sensations. I'm just kind of living in my head,
Totally.
disconnected from my body and all the information that it's actually taking in.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think because we are so bombarded with visual and auditory input, it's easy to tune out our sense of touch. But by focusing on it, we can actually reconnect with our bodies and be more grounded in the present moment. And then from that place of grounded presence, that's where a lot of the benefits start to come in.
Oh, okay. So tell me more about those benefits. Why should we care? Why is it good to be more mindful of our sense of touch? What's in it for us?
Well, the main thing I think is that it really helps cultivate mindfulness. By focusing on touch, you're essentially training your mind to stay present. And it's not just when you're meditating, but it can carry over into your everyday life too.
Right.
Which can be really helpful, when you're dealing with stress.
Oh, absolutely. I'm already thinking about the next time I'm feeling stressed at work, I'm going to try this out.
Yeah. And, it goes even deeper than that. It can also help you develop a deeper appreciation for the simple things. You start to notice and you start to value all those little things that we usually take for granted, like the warmth of the sun on your skin, or maybe the softness of a blanket, even the coolness of water as you wash your hands. It's all these seemingly ordinary things that suddenly become much richer when you're actually present with them.
Yeah, it's true. It's so easy to just take those things for granted. I feel like I'm on autopilot most of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
And not really experiencing them.
And that's kind of what this meditation helps you do. It's it brings you back to your senses, literally. And it reminds you of all the beauty and richness that's already there.
Yeah.
But there's another layer to this too that I think is really cool.
Oh, tell me. I'm intrigued.
It's kind of about what happens when we feel anxious or overwhelmed. Our mind is racing. right? And all these thoughts and worries are just kind of like swirling around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
And we get disconnected from our body,
Mm-hmm.
So by like connecting to those physical sensations of touch, you kind of like drop an anchor into the present moment.
Okay, yeah.
You're literally like grounding yourself, bringing your awareness back into your body.
That's a great way to put it. Dropping anchor. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And so as you become more grounded, you'll find that like you're less reactive to all those things out there that tend to, set you off.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of getting like swept away by those emotions, you can kind of like respond to situations from a place of more, clarity and composure.
Okay, yeah. I'm definitely seeing the benefits here. But I'm kind of curious about like the practical side of things. It's easy to focus on touch when I'm sitting here meditating, but how do I bring this into like everyday life?
Oh, for sure. I think that's where it really gets like interesting, right? Is like, how do we actually integrate this awareness of touch into all those things that we do every day?
Yeah.
I think you can start really small. Like maybe instead of like rushing through washing your hands, really take a moment to feel the warmth of the water, the slipperiness of the soap, even like the texture of your own skin.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe when you're eating, you can like slow down and not just taste the food, but really feel the different textures. Is it crunchy? Is it smooth? Like, how does it feel in your tongue?
I'm realizing like this isn't about adding something else to my to-do list. It's just about shifting my attention to things that I'm already doing.
Yes, exactly. It's like, waking up to the world through touch.
I like that. Yeah.
It's about like remembering all that richness that's there, but we kind of tune it out because we're so busy.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more those like seemingly ordinary touch sensations become like these little gateways to a deeper sense of presence and peace.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. We talked about the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra and how it's got like 112 different techniques. Is there like a common thread that runs through all of them? Even though they're using different approaches, are they all kind of getting at the same thing?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And I think, while each technique is unique in its own way, I think they all share that same goal, which is to kind of help you break free from those limitations of the mind.
Yeah.
And to experience the world with, fresh eyes, fresh ears, and in this case, fresh hands.
I love that. Fresh hands. It's like we're not just like seeing the world anew, but feeling it anew.
Exactly. And, meditation isn't about escaping reality, right? It's about experiencing it more fully.
Yeah.
With more depth, more appreciation, just like more aliveness. So, where does meditation on touch fit in? Well, I think touch is such a powerful sense because it's so immediate, so visceral. Like it's the foundation of your physical experience. So when you focus on touch, you're connecting to like the very core of your being.
Yeah.
The place where the mind and body meet.
Right.
And from that grounded, centered place, that's where it becomes easier to cultivate that sense of presence and awareness and even connection with like everything around you.
What really strikes me about this technique, it's just how simple it is. It feels very accessible. Anyone can do it, even if you've never meditated before in your life.
Totally. I think that's one of the things that makes it so appealing. You don't need any special equipment. There's no chanting, no like complicated rituals. It's literally just you, your body, and your willingness to pay attention.
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of a reminder that like the tools are already here, for inner peace and presence.
Right here, right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about seeking something outside of yourself.
Yeah.
It's about turning inward. And just exploring that like vast landscape of your own sensory experience.
I'm excited to try this. I feel like it can make, a real difference.
I'm glad to hear that. I think, just remember to approach it with a sense of curiosity and openness. Allow yourself to like be surprised by the richness and subtlety of those tactile experiences. And if your mind wanders off, don't worry. Just gently bring it back.
This has been like really eye-opening. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on touch.
It's amazing how something so familiar can hold so much like potential for transformation.
So before we wrap up, like what's one key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with?
I think the most important thing is just to like remember that mindfulness isn't this like separate thing from your everyday life. It's not something you have to like go to a retreat to cultivate.
Hey.
It's available to you in every single moment, in every sensation, in every breath. And this meditation on touch is just a really great example of that. It's like this little reminder that you can find peace and presence in the simplest of things, right here, right now.
I love that. Making mindfulness a part of your everyday life.
Exactly. It's about those little moments throughout the day.
Yeah.
And those moments really add up. And they gradually like shift your overall state of being. And you become more present, more grounded, and ultimately more at ease.
I think this technique could be like especially helpful for people who struggle with like anxiety and stress.
That's for sure.
It's kind of like a portable grounding tool.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's also a wonderful way to cultivate self-compassion too, because when you tune into your physical sensations, it's like you're sending a message to yourself. It's like you're saying, hey, I'm here for you. I care about you.
Yeah. I like that.
And that can be like incredibly healing.
Just talking about this is shifting my awareness. It's really cool.
It's pretty amazing how powerful our attention can be, when we direct it intentionally. We can change our experience of the world. And I think meditation on touch is like a beautiful illustration of that.
So before we move on, is there anything else you wanted to add?
I would just encourage everyone to like approach this with a sense of playfulness and experimentation.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to explore different touch sensations. See what works for you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's really all about finding what works for you and, how you can make it a part of your life in a way that feels natural and sustainable.
I love that. Making mindfulness fun.
Yeah.
And joyful and something that's just a part of life.
Exactly.
This has been so cool.
Yeah.
Like learning about meditation on touch. I feel like I'm looking at, feeling touch in a totally new way.
Yeah, for sure. I hope you feel kind of inspired to, go on your own tactile journey.
Yeah.
Just like discover all that richness and that sense that we often like just totally ignore.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. So, okay, before we wrap up, I want to ask you this. If we start paying more attention to touch, just in our everyday lives, could that actually like change how we see the world?
That is such a great question. And I think the answer is 100% yes. Because you're like expanding your capacity for, presence, for connection, for joy. And that like ripples outward and kind of like affects everything. From how you interact with other people to how you experience beauty to how you deal with all the, ups and downs of life.
That's pretty powerful, just like tuning into something as basic as touch can, like unlock all of that.
That's the magic of mindfulness, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you're finding the amazing in the ordinary, and meditation on touch is like such a perfect, pathway into that.
So cool. I'm like walking away from this with a whole new sense of like curiosity and I think a commitment to really exploring the world through touch. So thank you for, sharing your expertise with us.
Great to be here.
And to everyone listening, we really encourage you to like dive into meditation on touch, experiment, notice the little things and, just see how it changes things. And remember, even the most basic touch can like open you up to this like incredible awareness. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.